Zane, something that you and I have spoken about quite a lot is self-learning, and we spend a lot of time sort of unpacking it. But and obviously at Protea we have a big focus on self-learning. What does the concept mean to you? How would you sort of?
Yeah, so self-learning for me is the activity of sort of trying to get better. And sort of what I believe in is sort of the concept of 1% better every day. So trying to do something on a daily basis that will make some part of your life better. So, if I'm thinking about work, right, part of my responsibility is sales. So maybe, watching a video on, techniques to better understand the client and understand their needs. Or as a runner, I go out there and not just like plod along, but go run 3 by 1 minute repeats out on a long stretch of road, or do repeats up the side of a mountain. It's finding little things on a daily basis that if I do them today, it'll make me better at that portion of my life tomorrow. And if I sort of keep stacking those on top of each other, just consistently get better, that I'll just sort of overall just be a better person and feel better about myself, and just sort of make myself better for everybody. The better you can make yourself, the better you are for the people that you care about, because you're finding ways to maintain engagement in things that are important to you. And I think if you ever get to a point where you feel like you can't learn in that space anymore, or don't want to learn in that space anymore, maybe it's time to sort of pack it up. And it's hard to sort of identify which of those parts of your life that you no longer need if you're not trying to improve and push yourself, and find that point of like, I don't want to go any further.
I think, pack it in. I think that's something that we've spoken about as well, is there is always room to grow. And being able to recognize that and take the opportunities in order to sort of, move forward in that. But one thing that I always sort of wonder when it comes to just the general idea around self-learning and us sort of striving to do it on a daily basis, obviously with you being someone who is affiliated with the professional body, continuous professional development, it's quite a, there's a big focus on it. How much do you think sort of that space has shaped your views, if anything? Just having those requirements continuously in place.
Yeah, I guess it probably has had some say in it, but it probably also has pushed me into the fact where I'm like, this is so ridiculous. Like, all you care about is me getting better in one little space, and there's no real focus on the broader picture, right? Like, we just want you to be technically sound all the time, put in the time, make sure you're technically perfect. But then I'm like, but that doesn't make you a good manager. It doesn't make you a good leader. It doesn't make you a good person. So if we continuously just focus on items in this very narrow channel, it makes us very narrow people. And that's normally not a good thing. From my experience, the best learners, the hardest workers, and those who tend to achieve more are those who understand that it takes more than one skill set to be successful. And if they use all those skill sets on a daily basis, they will definitely take the strides forward, and be able to not just help themselves, but help those around them.
Well, I think you've hit quite a few nails on the head here. But if you could sort of sum it up, where or how do you allocate when you think of self-learning? Are you every day, is it something technical or soft skill driven? Sort of how do you discern between, okay, right, at this point in my life, I need to focus on XYZ, for instance?
Yeah, I definitely find time for the technical stuff, but I generally, that is definitely a smaller focus for me. I make sure I stay sharp by reading a lot of legislation and listening to a lot of smart people. But when it comes down to most of my self-learning from the Protea environment is to help me improve on the other side. I'm constantly trying to be a better manager and a better leader, because I know whatever I do is going to affect those around me. And if I'm not doing a good job in those senses of sort of setting the example of what it means to be a good leader and a good manager, things will just crumble around me. So a vast majority of my training was more on improving my ability as a leader rather than just focusing on the technical stuff.
Yeah. Zane, I think, obviously it is something that you are very, very passionate about. How does self-learning and the way you feel about self-learning sort of translate at Protea? How do you sort of live those values through Protea?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what we've tried to do is create an environment that people feel comfortable in spending time on what they believe will help them be better at their jobs and hopefully make them better people. I think sometimes where we get very narrow and we want you to do one of these 3 courses in this sort of time, it's not always relevant, right? There's topics that we even do as our stand-up training, like take inventory costing. It's important for everybody to understand it, but realistically, there's a subset of people that are going to do it more than others. And there's definitely people within the company that have never done it. And who knows, might never do it at all. So if we just sort of force people like, no, you have to do training on inventory costing, that's not very beneficial and won't be very motivational either. Self-learning is about upliftment. And if we're forcing things down people's throats, that's not necessarily upliftment. It's sort of contrary to that. And I think people learn the best when they're enjoying the subject matter. So we do come to a point where I trust that you'll make a right decision to help you develop your ability as a team member at Protea, and you'll choose the right content. We're not going to manage it. We're not going to micromanage it. We're not even going to police it. But we're going to trust you to make the right decisions, and hopefully that will allow you to flourish and give the best you possibly can to the rest of the team.
And I think, I mean, the self-learning and the way it's structured currently, where you have the choice to sort of delve into, whatever it is that you want to learn about. Have you seen the effects of that? Any positive effects that you've seen come through, having that sort of instituted and veering away from sort of the structured learning?
Yeah, I mean, with anything, right? There's going to be some people who are going to take the opportunity with both hands, and there's going to be others that sort of shy away from it and don't really get why it's important. But I think generally overall, we've seen an increase in the amount of time people are spending on improving themselves, which is a benefit. As much as they feel like it's maybe a whip rather than a courtesy. I've stated this to the team before, like, you don't have to do a damn thing, right? Go and do a single minute of self-learning, that's on you, but take the opportunity. And I think most people have taken it with both hands. And I definitely see that people probably feel more relaxed about training. It's not something that it's like anxiety filled anymore. And I definitely think we've seen improvement. People just seem to be more in control of themselves, which, if that's the only outcome that we get from giving people opportunity to self-learn, I'll take it.
Yeah, because I mean, that begs the question, you're out here encouraging the team, go forth and learn. But I mean, one could ask you, what's the benefit to you? What's the benefit to the company? And what would you say to that?
Smart, happy, comfortable people are going to give their best on a daily basis. And part of my team, I want people giving their best on a daily basis. And if they're giving their best on a daily basis, that means they're giving the best to Protea. And more importantly, they're giving their best to their clients. And that sort of pushes them that we make sure that we're providing a quality product and sort of fulfilling a greater role of just better accounting for everyone.